This is my new wood store. Possibly the best wood store ever built. Possibly the worst. Definitely both. I loved making it. I hated making it. I considered setting fire to it, but instead, here we are. Let me show you the good, the bad, and the why did you think that was a good idea moments. Rule number 1, it had to be free. Rule number 2, it had to look good. And rule number 3, it had to be waterproof. It all began in October 2022, before YouTube. Yeah, I know YouTube was around before 2022. I mean before I thought about YouTube. So these are all still photographs. The foundation, breeze blocks donated by my mate Andy. Andy runs his own physio business, and I can see why he gives away breeze blocks. 2 sessions with this team on my back is nearly functional again. These planks are covered in cement. Cement-covered planks are the unsung heroes of the construction industry. Kind of like traffic cones, but less flashy and way more traumatized. Add in some noggins reclaimed from an industrial estate, because nothing screams craftsmanship like concrete dust, nails sticking out at random angles with tetanus waiting in every corner. For any beginner woodworkers out there, a noggin is a professional term that means a random piece of wood you shove in and hope it holds up the entire building until gravity has a better idea for you. It's March 2024 and the rain has stopped, so it's time for me to go to the bottom of the garden again. Normally, I'd use pallets as framed walls. I love pallets. And here you can see just how many I have at the bottom of the garden. I already have a bunch of pallet slats removed and stashed against the wall. These giant ones, for example, are now in a giant pallet slat wall at my son's house. Yep, you guessed it, there is a video for this on my channel. I also tried the pallets as flooring, but I thought it just made the wood store just too tall. Or maybe it's just because I'm a short ass. It could, of course, be both. I guess I could have built some steps at the front, but at the same time all this was going on, I struck gold. Actually, it wasn't gold, it was damp, tanninized offcuts. I saw a local company installing a garden office and asked them what they did with the offcuts. Skip, they said. I did my best impression of Michael Flatley's River Dance. I even added some singing because it felt the right thing to do. No, a dumpster skip, the man said. And I stopped, immediately. After all the giggling died down, they agreed to dump their offcuts onto my driveway. Tongue and groove, baby. Right, onto the flooring. OSB offcuts, and it's a right mess. The main cost of doing everything for free is the labour. The man hours are immense, and if you lack talent as I do, you can double it. Here you can see the OSB sheets I have are all offcuts. It would be so much easier if this was 1 or 2 large sheets. It'd also be easier if I'd laid it completely over the base, rather than just building it up against that back wall and putting in the rear post before adding the floor. Making the OSB boards just nudge up against that back wall means I have a lovely floor which doubles up as a poor man's trampoline. I cut 2 holes in the front for the front posts. Did a fairly competent job on that for a change. Multi-tool, not often seen in YouTube videos, is it? I spend the rest of the day building up this back wall with 600mm wide, tongue and groove, tannalized wood. Feels professional. Other than I didn't order the wood, so it's a bodge job finding the right length. The good news is the garden company gave me a few bags of screws as well. And these photos show how it was at the end of the first real day of building. The structure is part covering the fence and nestled up against the bamboo plant in the corner. I've chucked in some photos of my homeless shelter that currently keeps my wood dry. Irony, keeping the tongue and groove under the very shelter the tongue and groove will replace. Okay, so the next part is the fun part, moving the whole unit, because nothing says DIY genius like realizing you've built your shed in the wrong place. My wife pointed out the fence will get wet and will likely need replacing in the next few years. On top of that, the neighbours will be able to see the wood store. Why not remove the bamboo plant and shuffle my barn down to the corner? She mumbled something about not burning the fence when she puts a match under my monstrosity, but it wasn't really clear what she meant. So I dug up the bamboo, too much sweat and swearing to make a YouTube video, and I dragged the wood store along the brick garage wall. I moved the old workbench and the plastic shed thing into the vacant space, take a step back, look at it and realise the new wood store is crooked. I shrug and I carry on anyway. Fun fact, if you rip out a massive plant that's been holding up the ground sinks. Who knew? Apparently everybody other than me. Measure once, move twice, cry thrice. That's the official Made by Shay motto. Put it on a t-shirt. What I've not told you is at the same time as building this wood store at the bottom of my garden, I was also building a shed at the top of my garden. The shed at the top of the garden was for my son, and he paid for some wood, OSB, screws, and EDPM. The offcuts of these are tossed to the bottom of the garden for this wood store, and we shared the tongue and groove offcuts, with his project getting first dibs and all the good stuff. It's because of this I ran out of wood and had to wait for another truck delivery. The summer of 2024 was wetter than a sponge at a car wash, and it's not until September that I really get going again. So this is me cutting off one of the last decent planks of 300mm wide tongue and groove. The best things about doing a shitty little project like this is the ability to try out new skills and new talents. So here I am about to take the last plank of good tongue and groove and this shitty plank, and I'm going to make another shitty one. This is me using the router, and wait to see my pretty little face at how just happy I am about success. Yay! Okay, we're coming to the end of the second truckload of wood now, and we really are scraping the bottom of the barrel. We've got 600 at the back, got 400 on the left, and this is 300mm wide that we are literally finding the smallest offcuts. We get to the point where, like on a lot of my projects, I stand around and I just think, what would future Martin do? The one with more talent, more skill, more knowledge, more understanding, more experience. What would he do? I know what he would do. He would make his own wood by double or triple stacking some thinner planks to make the right width. Genius. Turns out future Martin wouldn't appear until May of 2025.
Not perfect, but as you can see, I've doubled up here to get the right width and the right join here. One plank short of, I just don't have anything else. Triple stacked, 1, 2, 3, all tongue and grooved, all nicely, and that kind of matches up with this, and that's good enough. Put a floor down, which is going to be these old tiles here, and then build some sort of frame for the roof, which is these planks here and these long planks along here, and then I've got these planks that will build the doors, and these plus some more over there for the intake. This is all my wood stack, which I will then sort out. I'll have racks on the inside here for the tall stuff to hang up high and the low stuff to stack vertically. I might build some boxes to put it all in. What do you do with your dog when you're woodworking at the bottom of the garden? Watch him steal stuff.
Put a batten across the top to make it look like I know what I'm doing. Add in 2 new posts. They'll hold the hinge doors. And so far, everything has been free. But I know, absolutely know, I do not have any hinges for the hinge doors. That will be another delay. But I don't know that today. And if I do, I certainly don't worry about it. By this stage, I was driving to the depot with my son's van and loading offcuts straight from the skip, the dumpster skip. But you know that already, don't you?
Right, the boy's looking at all the offcuts. He likes to steal. Right, a wood store that's nowhere near straight. It was straight 2 years ago when we set it, but you can see it's leaning left, it's leaning right, it's leaning backwards, and we've done the best job we can. Doing a pallet floor, walls, barn doors, slopey roof, all things we want to learn. We'll practice here, and then once we've broken all these pallets down, my little wood shack over here that's keeping wood dry, that will move across into the wood store, and we might build something here, having learnt some of the skills. All the rest of this wood out drying out at the moment. We'll then get, there he goes, look, he's stolen that piece of wood. He's happy. So yeah, we'll get on with finishing this.
This is why I spend a whole day breaking up pallets and storing the wood at the bottom of the garden, so that you can put a pallet slat floor in quickly. Right then, doors. I quite like making doors, and this is my 3rd time of making them. Find the wood, make a frame. This is me on the gravel. This is me using corner clamps. Now I'd welcome any advice, guidance or general comments here, as this felt like a complete waste of time, effort and money. Now it's not helped at the end by needing a larger pallet to use as a workbench, but I stand around racking my pretty little head looking for a shortcut. Turns out there isn't one. Go get a large pallet from the vast selection I have at the bottom of my garden, and hey presto, we're back in action again. Cross beams. Braces. I always watch the SWI fencing video on how to add a cross beam, or a brace as it's called. because compression or tension apparently is important. I like a nice tight fit. You'll see me hesitate with the first one and then replace off camera. Always use a pallet as a workbench to keep it flat, because the gravel does not do the same job.
Yeah. Today's workstation was brought to you by Pallets R Us. So we have built up the sides on the end there and on the end there, triple stacked them so they're all the same width all the way up. Offered up the doors, but you will see the eagle-eyed amongst you, they're not level, and that roof level top is not level. There's something going on. I don't know what is going on, because I spirit leveled the doors, but yeah, not a lot of room to open the gates. But looks nice, if nothing else.
Okay, 10th of May 2025, and it's starting to take shape. 10 days later, it's time to make the barn doors. See this scruffy little offcut? That's my pride and joy, that. It's the same width as the space between my base plate and the blade on my circular saw, which makes it extremely useful when running it on this very poor man's track saw. Patent pending, don't rush all at once. Cut off the edges, drop them into the bucket, kick the bucket along. That's clever, isn't it? That's using the old noodle. Once. So that's now the frames fully built. Pallet slats go on, the edges get trimmed. Yep, it sounds like I know what I'm doing, but I don't. So here comes a tip-top top tip. When the clamps don't work, when the doors don't fit, if you've run out of wood several times, or the whole project is not level, the answer is Guinness. It won't fix the shed, but it will fix your attitude towards the shed. Also, a car jack will help tomorrow. Just saying. So, there are some slats that need the width cutting to size to make the top and the bottom of the door. And then that's the doors done. Job done well. Well, done-ish. They'll hang fine in the store until gravity, humidity, rain, snow, and chaos have their say. You'll see. I fixed the end slat and the middle slat with screws for stability. And I'm using a Kelly's ice cream tub, which is full of my random salvage screws just for those slats. It's the Cornish clotted ice cream flavour, obviously. The rest I brad nailed because, oh, why not? Now I sped up most of this brad nail video, but I've slowed down the highlight of the build. Bailey, nicking a box of brad nails that weighs nearly as much as him. That is Olympic class theft. He has talent, that boy. Actually, he has his own channel as well. So here's the wood store on the 20th of May, looking like a wood store, but it would stay like this for a further 3 months while I sourced some free hinges. I am back in the Pink Masters shirt on the hottest day of the year. Now, it is all about colour coordination on site. Pink shirt for confidence, red spirit level for accuracy, orange car jack for lifting. It's like a bad superhero team who have morphed with a pack of Skittles and auditioning for a DIY Barbie role. Now, this is possibly my proudest moment on this project, as by lunchtime, this wood store is perfectly level. The car jack and spirit level worked overtime, and I found some extra stonework and recovered it from a demolition site whilst on a Bailey dog walk later that day. The car jack lives in my pallet busting bag. Being a pallet buster, I always have a bag packed and ready with a car jack, an assortment of crowbars, lump hammers, pliers, and nippers, always ready. The nippers prove essential later today. Knowing I'm back on track and feeling confident once more, I step back and admire my great work. And then I spirit level one more time. My success must be down to the pink shirt. It's the same one Patrick Reed wore when he won the Golf Masters, and in my mind, it makes me a winner too. The morning's confidence and success evaporates in the summer sun like a cheap cup of tea left on a builder's dashboard. Full of promise at first, but by lunchtime it's just pure regret. I spend far too much time with the first sheet of OSB where there's a rusty old nail exactly at the point I want to run the circular saw through. In 2022, when I first started this project, I probably would have run the circular saw straight over it and worried about losing one of the teeth on the saw later on. Not now though, I'm a seasoned hobbyist where time and effort are rewarded with the final product. Plus, this project's supposed to be free, I'm not going to replace a saw blade, am I? So I dig it out with a crowbar and finish with the nippers. So once again, this project costs nothing in cash, but it is mugging me of time like a pickpocket in a crowded market. Working on your own with roofing is like doing karaoke, sober. Technically doable, but nobody sensible actually attempts it. Where a lot of small OSB offcuts was a hindrance for the floor, it's a godsend for the roof. I chucked the 2 large sheets of OSB on the roof first. I'm not showing you the first sheet as it went up with as much grace as a man who realises he's not as young, strong or as clever as he first thought he was. I stand back in wonder. Well, I stand back and I wonder how I will get to fit it all in. I had an extra 3 metre length of 2x4. I had 3 of these left over from my son's shed, and that ought to be enough. As Tom Cruise once said, that and Downey's testimony really ought to be enough. Cut the thinner OSB offcuts to size, whack them up there, and then have another look. Captain Nudger comes back and puts the rest into place. Screw all the sheets into place, and that is the unwaterproof lid in its place, and done. Happy days. Right, up she goes. EDPM, whose idea was it to install black rubber on the hottest day of the year? Me, in my light pink shirt at the start of the day, now in a sweaty, wet, dark pink shirt. Charming. The EDPM and the glue is left over from the other shed. This project is still free of cost. Kneeling on black rubber roofing. It's hotter than Satan's barbecue. Knee pads at my age aren't optional, they are life insurance. Slap on the glue, roll out the rubber, staple under the front, and we are done with black rubber on a hot day. Lime green yellow, they call this over at Adidas. Very visual for when Captain Chunky and I walk the roads around Castle Combe, where the tourists think the village roads are the actual racetrack. We like to be seen. This is me cladding the front, or a kickboard as I like to call it, as only I can, from the top down. Although Tongue and Groove traditionally doesn't like to groove from when being offered from below, I thought this was a good idea to make the top level first and work down. My rationale was the cement-clad floor base I had would receive screws, whereas the bottom just had gravel and air, traditionally not good with screws. I was so wrong. So wrong. This and removing the bamboo plant are the 2 top tips on this build. Bailey's trying to nick my gloves halfway through and also trying to get the cut triangle piece at the very end. He is priceless, and I could have made a video just with his thieving. It looks nice though at the end. Next up, a couple of little trims here just to hide a few gaps, keep the bugs out, hide the imperfections of this unit, because this is the only imperfection in this unit. So 23rd of August 2025, the project is still free, it's now waterproof, and I think it looks pretty, albeit it does look like a bus shelter. Good news, I have sourced some hinges and will start the salvage operation of those hinges later tonight. Hopefully have them installed tomorrow. The barn doors are now feeling like a 6-year-old schoolboy going to bed on Christmas Eve. Today though, we'll have a little tidy up of the door frames and get them ready to receive the doors and the hinges. One more night to wait. Should be easy enough, the barn doors have been waiting 3 months now. I am just as keen to get this finished, and I throw every single tool I've got at these door frames. So we're on to hinge surgery. Step 1 is hack the hinges off some old wood using chisels so blunt they'd struggle to cut warm butter. The screws won't budge, so in comes the axle grinder. Nothing says precision carpentry like the shower of sparks near your eyeballs. And then it's time for the rusty old coach bolts. Off they go, clean, cut through. Shame really, because I need coach bolts later on. Do I have any spare? Of course not. That's what's known in the trade as the scenic route to failure. Rust is scrubbed, hinges ready, time to paint. I grab a leftover can of primer, which promptly runs out halfway through. So one side of the hinges is now protected, and the other side, well, let's call that Friday afternoon rustic neglect. On with Hammerite spray. Black, lovely jubbly. Looks great, smells like a migraine. Back to the bottom of the garden. Time to hang some doors. Steel toe caps are on. Not so much safety boots, more like spare hands. Handy when the doors feel like they weigh more than an average family car. Add a couple of battens to stop the doors falling on my head, and nope, this is not from experience. Believe me, I'm not as bad as I actually make out in these videos. Doors in. Bit of a squeeze, like shoving a sofa through a cat flap. Quick measure, just to check I haven't made a complete hash of it. And then remember that the Kelly's ice cream tub of salvaged screws is in the wood store. With the impact drivers, to be fair. In my world, every day is a learning day. Bailey Dog's in shot. This is his walkies face. He thinks the shirt means Castle Combe. Sorry, mate. Hinges before hikes. Spray marker out. Mark, drill, screw, repeat, again, and again. Riveting stuff. Poor pun, literally though. Nothing glamorous here, just hinge after hinge like a slow motion episode of Groundhog Day. Orange tape on the edges. Highlight the screws that need hammerite. It feels like we're getting somewhere now. It's more like a wood store and less like a bus shelter. The wife quite likes the orange tape. Says it's the best bit of the build so far. Looks fine from a distance, if you're squinting. Well, that's a lovely haircut, isn't it? Not many people get their hair cut at Dewhurst the Butcher's. Another day in Adidas Puke Green. I've got 3 of those shirts. Right, side trimming first to hide the EDPM and give it a finished professional look. And the roofing. Now, eagle-eyed viewers amongst you will have noticed I placed pallet slats on the roof. And although only 20 people will view this and only 3 will comment, in the event this video is blown up and watched by many, please be aware that I know this is not how roofing is supposed to be done. For me, the EDPM will keep this unit waterproof-ish. That little L shape that you can see here is going down the back of the roof to allow me to secure from the inside without going through the EDPM membrane. I'm a genius inventor and entrepreneur, and I'm at work here. But seriously, it will allow me to secure the roof because we get a lot of wind here on the side of a hill. I'll let on-site Martin explain it when he's up there on the roof.
This is what we're doing on the rooftop. I've obviously levelled all those edges there and those ones. And on the bottom here, we've got some sort of batten. It's an L shape that you saw me make a minute ago. And it's basically going to allow all these screws to hold the roof itself in one place. And then there's an L that goes down the back of there that I will screw from within to give it security. And then we'll do something for the canopy at the end. Got a little bit more to make of it on the end there.
Clamps. You can never have enough clamps. That's how the saying goes, isn't it? I agree. Get plenty and get them in different sizes. This is the first time I've used the really tiny ones. Not that one because I've dropped it. And they come in really handy. I'm glad I've got them. This is me attaching some slats underneath the roof to hold all the roof together. I'm trying not to put any screws through the EDPM, but clearly I have to attach the pallet slat roof to something solid. So this is joining them all together. I'll also put some additional screws through that spare 2x4 that I put in earlier in the project, and that really ought to do. We'll see how it fares during the winter storms.
This is my wood store. Actually, this is my dog. This was where I stored my wood. This is where I store my pallets. This is my wood store. With its new handles. And it's wood. And it's shelves. And it's long planks. And it's pallets. And it's striders. And it's tree stumps. And it's waterproof roof. Which I suspect everybody will mock. Hey ho.
So here's the finished product. It's totally free. I think it looks good, especially with these downlights. And yes, those 2 planks on the door annoyed me as well, so I've changed them. And of course it's waterproof. And the orange microfiber cloth, my wife said it's the best thing for polishing, especially polishing a turd. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click on like. If you didn't, or you think you can tell me how to improve, please comment below. Now I've lined up another video that I think you might like, but if you want to see more of my videos, why not subscribe? And if you change the bell notification, you'll be amongst the first to see my new stuff as it comes along. If not, hope you enjoyed. See you again. Lovely. Bye.